そこで仕事をする、そして瓦礫の処理が大きな難問でありますけれども、それを用いて、丘を作り、森で覆って、日頃は市民の憩いの公園であり、災害の時には避難できる場所です。そうした、この新しいまちづくりを我々は今検討しております。
To be more specific, I believe that wherever possible we should try to rebuild residences, individual homes and hospitals and schools in very high level places, in other words on top of hills or where the elevation is very high. For people who have to work near the coastline, people involved in port related work or in fisheries related activities, they should of course be able to have facilities near the sea. However, these facilities, these buildings should be very, very high-rise buildings, high-rise at least 5 stories. In other words, they should be very sturdy buildings made of reinforced concrete and very high so that in case another tsunami comes, people will be able to be saved. Another big challenge facing us today is the removal of the debris or the rubble that remains. This is an enormous task. However, we can put a positive sort of spin on this by thinking about using all of this rubble to create a small hill. And on top of this small hill, we can create a park and cover it with trees and forests. And during the daytime, during regular times, people will be able to use this park for their own recreation. In times of disaster, these parks could be used as a place to evacuate to.
我々の復興会議は飯尾教授が検討部会といいまして、より多く専門家を集めていろいろなアイディアを吸合すると、そして案を準備するという仕事をしてくれておりますが、今始まったところでさまざまなアイディアが集めている段階であります。6月中に具体的な方針というのを取りまとめて政府に答申したいと思っております。今のところは従ってこうするという結論ではなくて、さまざまなアイディアが出ている段階でありますが、全ての市や町、津波でさらわれてそれぞれがまちづくり会社というようなものを作る。例えば市長さん自身が社長になって、民間のアイディア、さまざまなコース、それには国際的なアイディアをも集めて、再建プランを作るというふうな考えを提起する人もおりますし、例えばたくさんの子どもが親を失った、その子どもたちに対する奨学金、あるいは皆さんの国々への留学というふうな支援の制度はありえないかとか、農業を復活するにしても、あるいは素晴らしい漁場、三陸海岸漁場ですが、漁業をやる場合にも新しい国際化時代にやっていける、そこで作り出すものが世界で好んで食べられるようなものにしていく工夫が必要であるとか、あるいは東北地方は祭りの好きな地域です。この度の皆さんから得た支援を記念して国際フェスティバルというようなものを作ってはどうか、あるいは東北地方に今後津波災害の世界的研究拠点を作るべきではないといったさまざまなアイディアが今提起されているところであります。
In regard to this Reconstruction Design Council, a major part is going to be played by my colleague, Professor Iyo. As you know, he is the working group leader of one of the divisions, subgroups of this Design Council. His job is basically to find as many different ideas, to invite and solicit as many ideas as possible that we can use to create a reconstruction plan. So the point is, we've just gotten started. We do not have a conclusion yet as to which direction we're going to go or what exactly we're going to do. We're right now studying as many different possibilities as possible. It is our intention to try to formulate a general plan describing our general direction sometime in June. We would like to make a presentation of this proposal to the government sometime in June. At present, however, as I mentioned, we are receiving many different kinds of ideas. We're basically in the process of brainstorming, perhaps. Some of the ideas that have been raised are, for example, there's the idea that each city or each village might put together its own reconstruction company, and the mayor or the head village person might serve as the president of this reconstruction company. Another person has suggested that maybe this company and others could receive ideas not only from government or academics, but also from the private sector, also from international sources as well. There have been other ideas raised. For example, as you know, many children lost their parents. They have become orphans. There have been ideas raised to perhaps establish scholarships for these students, and also perhaps to invite them to be able to study abroad in many of your own countries. Some other ideas that have been raised are concerning agriculture. It is not enough to simply restore agriculture to its former state, but as I mentioned earlier, regardless of how the world changes, and as the world becomes more global and more internationalized, we have to ensure that the restored agriculture is something that is viable and can exist and thrive in this international global age. In other words, it has to be agriculture that is able to produce products that are attractive and appealing to consumers throughout the world. Also, as many of you know, this Tohoku, or Eastern Japan region, is very famous for its love of festivals, for festivities. There is an idea that because so many funds have been sent from international sources to support the Tohoku region, that maybe an international festival to commemorate or to remember this calamity might be appropriate. There are also and the other idea that has been raised is the idea of perhaps establishing a research facility in the Tohoku region that will specialize in researching tsunamis.
私の最初の